Hi, this is Sally Morgan, physical therapist, craniosacral therapist, and Tallington TTouch practitioner for animals and people. This is Tristan, he's a Corgi, and this is an episode of Conversations with a Corgi. And today we're continuing our look at ways to address hot spots on your dog. And Tristan actually had one here about a week and a half ago, so we can use that for our demonstration today. It's really important to remember that with hot spots, there's usually just a general lack of nutrition, blood flow, nerve flow, and energy, chi, in the area where you have a hot spot. So anything you can do to promote circulation to that area and to promote nervous supply, blood supply, anything that you can do to bring sensitivity back to the area where the hot spot is. So one of the best things that you can do involves your hands, and that is Tallington TTouch. And you can go back and review on the first 50 episodes of Conversation with a Corgi some of the specific nuances of TTouches. But today I'm just going to show you a couple that are specifically good for TTouches, for hot spots. So the first thing that you need to know about TTouches is that the ones we're going to show you today are circle and a quarter. So you imagine the face of a clock with the 6 pointing down and the 12 at the top, and you're going to make a circle with your fingers going around that clock and back to the 9. So you're starting at the 6, around the clock, back to the 9. So it's going to look like this. Circle and a quarter. And we found that that is the most effective. We did some studies looking at 1 circles and 2 circles, and if you try it on yourself, 2 circles feels like too much, and a circle itself feels like you haven't done a whole circle. So a circle and a quarter is definitely the most effective, and there's lots of information about that. So what we're going to look at today are some of the TTouches using that circle and a quarter. The other thing you need to know is about the pressure. If you put your hand lightly below your eye, the lightest you can feel there is a 1 touch on a scale of 1 to 10. The most that feels quite comfortable there is about a 3, and you should practice that around your eye. It's also good if you have bags under your eyes to do these little circle and a quarter TTouches and at a 3 pressure. And you should also practice it somewhere else on your body so that you know what a 3 feels like. It's going to feel a lot heavier up here and a lot lighter down here, depending on where on your body you're doing it. So we are going to be doing only about a 3 or a 4 pressure on our dog for what we're going to be doing today, which is bear and tiger TTouch around the area where the hot spot is. Now his is already growing back in, so I don't have a huge area to show you. Oh, there's you get a little bit of hair coming out in this one spot. Poor biscuits. So with that bear and tiger TTouch, you're going to be using the fingernails. So your fingers are going to be straight down towards the dog. This is also great for you if you have poison ivy or anything that's itchy. An important thing to know about hot spots is that pain and itchiness travel on the same nerve fibers. So if you can address the itching, you can also address some of the pain from a hot spot. So your thumb is an anchor. You're going to put that down on your dog, and depending on whether your fingers are close together or separated, it's going to be bear or tiger, but we don't need to care about that right now. We just want to get these TTouches using your fingernails, and all the fingers are doing that circle and a quarter because I have my fingers separated. So it looks like this. And you're going not on the hot spot itself, but around it. And because he's standing, the 6 on that clock is facing the ground. People get very confused. And you want to be going clockwise generally. Just notice if you're going clockwise or counterclockwise. The interesting thing about this is that going counterclockwise takes energy away from the area you're working on. And if you've got a really bad hot spot, you may find yourself going counterclockwise quite naturally. So this is going to increase circulation to the area, relieve some of the itching and pain. Oh, Tristan's girlfriend's coming to visit. Lucy the collie.
Chelsea.
She's still a collie. She says, I am cute with my haircut. So we're doing these little tiger and bear TTouches around the area where the hot spot is. Now the other one I want to show you that's really important is to help stimulate the lymph, because sometimes people forget about lymph. Lymph is one of the most important things in our bodies to help us clear toxins out of our bodies and also to increase circulation to an area. To stimulate lymph, you use a very light touch generally, and this particular TTouch I found has a really good effect on the lymph. So it's called the Tarantula's Pulling a Plow. So you have your fingers like a little plow with your thumbs, and then your first finger and your second finger do the itsy bitsy spider walk. And people sometimes even sing the itsy bitsy spider to get a rhythm for it. So your thumbs are dragging along as your fingers are walking. And you're not pushing down very hard on your dog. And you generally start at the front of your dog. Biscuit, I know my lap isn't big enough to do this, but we'll try. Start towards your dog's head and pull the plow along as you go towards his butt. So she went in their room. So you're doing the itsy bitsy spider down your dog's spine. And with this, you can go around the hot spot if it's on his back. You don't want to go right over it. And you want to do this fairly lightly to stimulate the lymph. But you don't want to just glide over the hair like this. You want to make a connection with the dog's skin. Depending on where your hot spot is, you can do this underneath of your dog. If it's on one of his legs, just doing it on his spine and down his sides can really help stimulate the lymph flow throughout his whole body. The lymph nodes in general tend to reside in the armpits, underneath the back leg and the groin. And there's rings of them like Christmas lights around areas of the neck and the face. So even doing little itty bitty tarantulas pulling a plow on your dog's head, and it really is best to go in the direction of the hair for this. But I can't really do that because of how he's facing. So I'm going to go this way. So that is a look at tarantulas pulling a plow. And as I said, you can go back to, I don't know, about episode 30 of Conversations with a Corgi on YouTube, where they're all archived, and look up tarantulas pulling a plow and get a more detailed half-hour video about doing it. But this really is important. And if you have a dog with any other kind of lymph congestion, if your dog has an infection of any kind after surgery to clear the anesthesia, this tarantulas pulling a plow can really, really help your dog, or yourself for that matter. And you can do it with one hand on yourself. You don't need to do it with two hands if you need to do it on your arm. And I find it really, truly effective for lymph. There's been no research about this at all. In fact, some of the kinds of lymphatic drainage I do on humans has not been researched terribly much, but it's clearly effective because swelling goes down and people do better. So those are some of the TTouches that I would use if my dog had a hot spot. The tiger touch like this, or the bear touch like this, using your fingernails around that. You can also use raccoon touch, which is just the tips of your fingers, but not necessarily the nails. And that, again, is a very precise kind of touch, and it can really help relieve some of the itching and improve the circulation to the area. And then we had tarantulas pulling the plow to improve the lymph, and also just in general to soothe your dog. The ear slides are a really good thing to do, because your dog now has an increased inflammation in his entire body, and the ear slides are affecting the 3 points around the base of the dog's ear for the acupuncture points for the triple heater meridian. And you can actually do some of those touches right around the triple heater meridian, or just doing the ear slides, which is fun. Don't let your dog's ear snap. If your dog's ear grows downward, you can do the ear slide in a downward direction. And remember, the point at the tip of the ear is for shock, and also can be really helpful reviving your dog in a terrible situation. So that's all we have time for today, but thanks for joining us. And as I said, those TTouches are archived on YouTube and some of the earlier Conversations with a Corgi, so go there and check them out. And we will see you tomorrow. Sorry we missed you yesterday. I am on vacation, but you wouldn't know it. I have 800 emails to go through today. Hopefully it won't take too long. some other guest dogs here that we'd like to talk to. We want to talk to Lucy about her haircut. And we also would like to talk to Gypsy about her special jacket she has for her haircut. Because these things are important things that a lot of us with dogs in the summer worry about. The sun's coming out and the air is drier. We've had some storms. And Tristan can't wait to go to the beach. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow. Everybody have a great day. Hi, Dory. It's early where Dory lives.